Okay, hello. So today we're going to start a three-part series on learning how to make and sew a HAU gear stuff sack. And we're going to look at 3 steps in the process of how to accomplish that. And the first thing we're going to look at is what we call the preparation, meaning what will we need to prepare in order to effectively have a great sewing experience. And so we're going to talk about the material that we're going to have to prepare ahead of time to be able to do that. And after we discuss the material and how to have that ready, then we will go to the second part, which is production. How do you produce and make that stuff sack? And then, of course, after we produce and make that stuff sack, the third part is going to be how to present that to the market. In other words, how to get that into other people's hands and be able to sell it and generate revenue to support and help the cause that we're trying to help with HAU gear. So again, there's 3 parts. There's going to be how to prepare, how to produce, and then how to present in the process of creating a stuff sack for HAU gear. So let's get started. Okay, so let's go ahead and go over our preparation list. These are the items that we will need to have ready and prepared in order for us to be able to sew the stuff sacks that we are trying to create for HAU gear. So the first thing we're going to need is to find a table. I know Sister Dilshova has a lunch room with longer tables. Maybe we can use one of those tables to be able to cut the material. And again, this is just for preparing the material. After preparing the material, we can just go ahead and use the sewing machine in her office. So here's what we're going to be making. The first item we're going to create for the HAU gear sewing system is going to be a stuff sack. Now, they're going to be different sizes. In this case, this is about the size of my hand. We're going to be able to use it for many different things in camping and trekking. You'll be able to keep food, a camera, some small clothing, or any items that you want to carry with you from a day-to-day perspective. And so this is what we're going to be making. Now, here's a few things that we're going to need to prepare ahead of time. We'll want to have a pencil, any kind of pencil, and a pen, any kind of pen. Then we're also going to need paracord or rope, which is, I believe, in the items that I have sent to you guys. Again, it can be thin rope or a little bit thicker rope, but again, it should be in the items of rope that I have sent. Then we're also going to need a locker, which we use to lock the rope when we tighten it. Now, in this case, this is a single locker, and I believe that's what I have in the packet for you guys. But whatever is available, you can use either a round locker or a double locker, and that works fine. We're also going to need a needle to loosen the thread. If we ever have an issue where we have sewed the wrong way, this little thread release needle, and I think there's 2 of them in the packet I sent, is able to cut the thread so that you can restart and fix any issues with the thread. Okay, then we also have the thread itself, which will need a lot of thread. And then you can get this. This is just a simple ruler. You can find it at any of the school supply locations in Tamil. This is called an X-Acto knife. I believe this is something that we can find at the construction store for material. And it's just a little knife that it's not for cutting material as much as it is to cut cardboard and other items. And I'll show you how to use that later. Then we're also going to need some measuring tape. And I think there's 2 of these in the sample packet I sent with you guys. We'll need 2 scissors. One scissor is going to be dedicated just for fabric. And it's very, very important that you only use the scissors for fabric on fabric. Otherwise, it's going to ruin the edges and it's not going to allow you to cut very well with the fabric. And then just some regular generic scissors, just any kind of ordinary scissors. And this is to cut any of the other material as well. Of course, we're also going to need our fabric. And I know that we have plenty of fabric right now over there, but I'd be glad to send more as we start making the products. And then the last item is a cardboard. Now this is just a cardboard, which is some thicker paper. You can purchase this from any of the supply stores for children for school. And what we do is we're going to cut this out, and this is where that X-Acto knife came into play. We're going to cut it out, and this is going to make the shape of the fabric that we're going to be cutting. So in this case, this is a 12-inch by 14-inch shape. We're going to be cutting fabric in this size over and over again so that we can go ahead and use that to make this stuff sack. So again, these are the items that we'll need, and I recommend you gather ahead of time for us to be able to prepare for the next part, which is the process of sewing the stuff sacks. All right, talk to you guys soon. So we've just covered the material that we're going to need to be able to make our stuff sack. Let's go ahead and double check that we have all the material that we need. And then once we have the material in place, then we're going to move on to the second video, which is on the production of the stuff sack, which is going to be two parts. One is how to cut the material and how to be as efficient, in other words, to be able to go really fast when it comes time to sewing. So I'm going to show you how we're going to cut it in such a way that we can sew fast. And then we're going to actually do another video under the production side of how to actually sew. So the production video will be 1 on how to cut the material, and then 2 on how to sew the material. So I'm excited for you guys. We'll see you in the next video series.